The merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger, and I further bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the extension of the Son of Man. I would like to greet you, brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace, which we say in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak, to all the brothers and sisters out there in the land. Praise be to Allah. There go my man's brother, Raheem Elijah. Peace to the God. I haven't been going live, man, for a minute. I just been sitting back, just, relaxing and just chilling and just trying to reflect and just take time to analyze this new shift, these new regulations that are going to be upon us from this point forward. Only thing we can do, man, is continue. The brothers that we lost, the brothers that we have lost in the Nation of Islam to the COVID-19, we pray for those brothers. May Allah be pleased with those brothers. We send prayers to their families for the common black men and women that have lost their lives to the COVID-19. May Allah be pleased with them as well. We send prayers out to their families. Peace, brothers out here. Peace to the God, man. I see you. But what I wanted to talk about, man, real brief, was, I was having a dialogue with a good friend of mine, and she made a hell of a point. And it made me think about, our condition as a whole. She made a hell of a point. And, we was talking about the conditions of black people, of course, us. And we was talking about the different mindsets that the black men and women have opposed to our open enemy, our true opposition, which is, the Caucasian. We know this, it's not something where we trying to be, where we trying to act funny, or we trying to, keep this a black and white thing. But we have to stop being in our feelings, and we have to get out of our emotions and rise above our emotions and start to go into our intellect to reason with the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, taught and guided by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It seems like the more and more that we go into the new world, things are turning over, going out of our old world, coming into a new world. And I want to share this with brothers and sisters, because I've dialogued with so many, brothers when it comes to our condition. And just from my up and close experience, being in the streets, being in the penitentiary, and being able to really analyze my current condition, analyze our current condition, as a people. And when I had an opportunity to go back into the past and read about our true history, dig up books you ain't never heard of, you know what I'm saying? And I learned how to read, European philosophies. I learned how to read books from authors that were Europeans, because it's a lot of truth in the books that they write. They make, on the surface, it may be falsehood, it may be tricks and lies, but it always goes back to the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad about the opposition. Yaqub, he knew the truth. Yaqub was a god. Yaqub was an original man. He was a god, right? So if Yaqub grafted a people, even though he didn't live to see his finished product, He didn't live to see the finished product of the European, being born on an island in the Aegean Sea, in the island of Patmos, the island of Palan, in the Aegean Sea. He wasn't alive to see them come back into paradise, into the land of Arabia, of the original black man. He wasn't alive to see that. He wasn't alive to see them physically cause division, bring tricks and lies to the original people, whisper like a slinking devil. He wasn't there to actually see that. But what am I getting at? What I'm getting at is the mindset that Yaqub had. He mastered all of the education in his time, in his day, at 18 years old. Everything, doctorian doctrines, masters, bachelors, whatever there was to master in his time, he already had. In 8400, in this 25,000 year cycle that we're in, he was able to master everything of that sort. The mindset, the capacity of his mind and his way of thinking was supreme. Okay? So when he makes his people, and his people finally come into the final product manifestation, the European, the Caucasian, okay? When we speed up, we look at that process that took place. All of it is connected. We look at that, and I'm going somewhere with this. It all connects, but it was a genetic engineering, gravitation that took place for the white man to get here through us. Took a process, 600 years. Okay, we know this. But I want to come up and I want to speed up because this is dealing with the COVID-19. This is dealing with the pestilence. This is dealing with the mindset that we have. This is dealing with, we hear a young brother Ben. We hear a Dr. Wesley. We hear a brother Reza Islam. We hear a brother 19 Keys. We hear a lot of these brothers. Dr. Akil, we hear these brothers going live and they're speaking a high science. They're speaking a high science pertaining to going into the new world, the pestilence, the things that we're seeing right now. God have different stars that are in place to give us instructions, to give us guidance, to continue to give us the right direction to go as we continue to walk in the valley of the shadow of death. Okay? But this goes back to the process that it took to bring the white man forward. Now, remember this. All this is still pertaining to Yaqub's mindset. This is God. This is God from Teman. Okay? This is Yaqub. This is the God that's from Teman, that was born 20 miles outside of Arabia, 8400. This man here, the God of Teman, right? Not the Holy One, but the God of Teman. The mindset. Look at the connection between Yaqub and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises is due forever. It's identical. It's opposite, but at the same time, it's congruent. It's parallel, right? The different mindsets of these supreme men, these supreme beings with the minds that they had at different times. And I think about the hidden 64 years when they told us that slavery started in 1619. And this is what they fed the people. This is what they're continuously feeding the people. Slavery started in 1619. So we look at us as a people here in America. We come all the way up from Master Farad Muhammad. We come all the way up from Yaqub. We come all the way up from all these things that happen. We come all the way up from the hidden 64 years. I wanna tie all this in to the COVID-19, the condition that we're in right in 2020, right today, May 1st. I want to tie all this in, right? Because I don't think we really understand the condition and the magnitude of the black man and woman. I mean, we can look at the people and say, hey, look, man, you know, that's stupid. Why did you do that? Or why are you not doing this? And you know that if that stove is hot, why would you touch it? You know, and you still touched it anyway. Damn, who does that? You're stupid. Why would you do that? This is a fool and this and that and that. We have so many things that we can say about the black man and woman in our condition here in America and say, damn, you know, why are we doing this? Hey, I want to connect this to the 64 years making a slave. This is why the 64 years, the hidden 64 years, was not really talked about. It was too brutal to talk about. The 64 years to make a slave was so brutal to talk about. This wasn't just done physically, brothers and sisters. It wasn't just done physically. And this is where I had to come to grips to understand that, damn. See? When white people look at our condition now, white people look at our condition and they feel sympathy for us. They feel sympathy. You got some white people that feel sympathy. But when the black man and woman look at our own condition, when we're looking at ourselves in the mirror through our downtrodden neighborhoods, when we can see our brothers homeless, our sisters hoeing, people on drugs, you know, just lost in the street, you know, just dead mentally, just living on a horizontal level. We don't feel sympathy. We feel empathy. We don't feel sympathy. See, the white man feels sympathy. The white woman feels sympathy. They feel sympathy because they can look at a people and say, wow, damn, you know, look at them. Look at the condition that they're in. So they can feel a sympathy. But the black man and woman, we can't feel a sympathy because we're looking at ourselves. Even though we may not be in that condition, we feel an empathy because we're connected to that. It's not a sympathy. It's not a, I feel sorry for you. Hell, I'm in the same boat you in. That's why the minister say that no one man can rise above his people. All of us know what a dolphin is. All of us know what a prostitute is. All of us know what it is to be black, to be growing up in America. No matter if you have a Benz or your family is rich or whatever the situation is, you came into generational wealth. You know what a nigga is. What did Kanye West say? You still a nigga in the Benz. They still look at us as being considered niggas. So we still have all that that's tied to us that we relate to. So I was thinking about this and I said the 64 years to make a slave. I said, damn, it took 64 years. Now, 1555, John Hawkins. Now, as the process is going and a slave is being made, so much went on. So much brutality went on. It wasn't just done physically. So what we're looking at, 64 years, once that 64 years was up and the process sped up and they started to gain ground on creating slaves and breeding slaves like they breed dogs and horses. This same mindset of intellect that was done once the white man got up and going and creating his slaves, this was scientifically done. This was the mind of Yaqub. So now even though Yaqub is not around, even though we're up here in we're between 1555 and 1619, and we're going into the 1700s and going into the 1800s and going into the 1900s and going up into the 2000s, and here we are in 2020. What we see out of Donald Trump, what we see out of the CDC, the top CDC authorities, what we see out of Bill Gates, what we see out of Dr. Funch, whatever his name is, all this deceptive intelligence we see, pertaining to the COVID-19. All this is the all this is the mind of Yaqub. So the meat of what I wanted to talk about was, I was driving to the store earlier. And I was coming back from the store, right? And I'm in Texas. I'm in Dallas. I'm in Texas. And I was coming back home, right? And today was the first initial day that Texas opened up. So they were saying, oh, Texas is going to be open today. And, you know, these types of things is going on, which, of course, we know that we got our instructions from the Son of Man. And the Son of Man is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, from his assistant national student, Brother Ishmael Muhammad, who's doing a fantastic and an amazing job delivering the messages that he's getting instructions from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to feed us, you know, to feed us and to feed the common black man and woman, and to warn the enemy in high places. He's feeding us a heavy message, and it's going out 3 different ways: to registered members, to the common black man and woman abroad, and to the enemy, which is the European in high places, the wicked white man, of course. But what I want to talk about is the condition of the black man and woman. I want us to stop looking at black people, and just because, you know, they're not following the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, or they reject the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, or they reject the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, stop downing them. Stop looking at them and saying, oh, this nigga lost, or this nigga stupid, or this and that. Because let me tell you something. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad did not say just to say it, that we were all taught by the same slave master. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have extended that supreme talk from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he tell us, brother, we've all been taught by the same slave master. So what is he telling us? That some of us are steeped in ignorance in deeper degrees than others, but it's still a degree of ignorance. It's still ignorance across the board. It's still ignorance. So someone can listen to me or hear me and say, you know, hey, what made him say that? Or what makes him do this? What makes him still do that? We can all look at each other's faults, and we can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We do it in the Nation of Islam. It's not supposed to be done, but it's being done. We're in the Nation of Islam, and it's being done. So just because we're in the nation, and I say this all the time, just because we represent the Nation of Islam, you don't just jump right into the Nation of Islam and then all of a sudden you can put on some apparel with the Nation of Islam, or you put on a bow tie, you put on a hijab, or then you just jump right back out. I'm in the Nation of Islam, and now you can all of a sudden you can start looking down on everybody else. It don't work like that. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. Even the top scholars, even the top students that are in the Nation of Islam right now, we're still far apart from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The gap is so far in between from the mindset that he has and the love that he displays as an example, the perfect love that he cast out to show us he's a perfect man and he's a perfect God for us. He's the God for us at this particular time. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the God. When I say he's the God, am I saying that he's the original Allah? No, that's not what I'm saying. Because Master Farrar Muhammad said that I came to make gods. So we're not wrong for saying that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the God on the scene that we're all feeding from. Because he is. He's the God. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a God. But we don't see him right now. Where is he? He's wherever he want to be. He's with he's with Master Farrar Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. Allah in the person. He's with him. So we strive to follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, even us that's in the nation. I don't want to jump out there and say that every because we're in the Nation of Islam and we're followers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we're feeding on the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that everybody is doing everything correct. No, that's not happening, man. That's not happening. That's not happening nowhere in America. It's not going down like that. These teachings has been amongst us for 90 years. 90 years, the supreme teachings has been amongst us. You're talking about 400 plus years of slavery, 200 some plus years of chattel slavery, 64 years to make a slave, to break a black man, to remake him. All this was done scientifically. So, when we say that we hate ourselves, the black man self-hate, that self-hate is not a natural thing to us, but it's a scientific thing to us. But see, our opposition, the European, see, they hate themselves naturally. Even though they know how to come together on certain things, the mindset that they have is hate. They don't know how to love naturally. They don't know how to love naturally. They don't know how to love naturally. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother topic that we can go into. And I don't even want to go into that. But I wanna just take time out to say that what I seen today is that, you know, a lot of us, and I'm including us on this live, you know, including myself. I'll be the first to bear witness, raise my hand. You know, I'm still sick. I'm still sick in a lot of ways, in degrees of the 64 years of making a slave. I'm a part of that. I don't want to speak for nobody else. I'm talking about me. I'm a part of that. I'm a part of the 64 years, the hidden 64 years of making a slave. When I hear that, I got to put myself there. When the Supreme Captain, Brother Mustafa Farrakhan, say that the biggest room is not the master's bedroom, it is the room for correction in self. Hell, we all should be able to see the hidden 64 years of making a slave when we look in the mirror every single day. We should all be able to see the hidden 64 years of making a slave. How do we come out of this? How do we reverse this? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught us that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was Yaqub in reverse. So if it took 64 years to make a slave, it wasn't just done physically. It wasn't just done mentally. It was scientifically done. All the foods that we were eating that we call soul food, that's slave food. See, that's another scientific way of connecting us with that way of thinking. That's why the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us how to eat to live. He scientifically, see, not only physically, not only mentally, not only spiritually, but he's scientifically turning us back into the original man, the original God of the universe. He's linking us back to our original position with our original family of the universe. This is what he's doing. It's not just about reading some supreme wisdom. It's not just about that. So I had to come to an understanding myself on what I seen today. White man say, hey, Texas is open. A lot of things is open. We're open again. So I seen a lot of black people. I seen a lot of black people. People, listen to me, family. You know, and I'm not down in my people or nothing like that. I don't have any room to do that. But what I am, I'm just focusing on the mindset that we have. The governor said that some things were open in Texas. A lot of stores, of course, schools and daycares are still closed, of course. But a lot of stores, a lot of restaurants, a lot of these type of things I'm starting to see open back up, right? And they were packed. They were packed. But I went by this particular park, right? And the park was filled up. It was filled with cars, and just black people was hanging out. Some people had barbecue pits going. I'm serious. I wouldn't come up here and go live if I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass serious. People was barbecuing. They had meat going. You know, children was playing around. Children was, you know, playing football. They was playing frisbee. They was playing tag. They was playing catch. They was running, chasing each other. They had music going, and you know, this type of thing was going on. So, I mean, I didn't stop and just, you know, when I went past it, I just was looking, and I was like, damn. First thing came to my head was the 64 hidden years of making a slave. Why do we have to dig for that? Why do we have to dig for the hidden 64 years of how we were made scientifically? How we came into this way of thinking. Why was that hidden? Because it was too brutal. It was even too brutal for the white man to even run that back to us. Even though he know what he did, he didn't want to run it back. See, certain things about us being in slavery, he allowed us to learn that again. He ran that back. Oh, yeah, you was in slavery, you know, and this and that. You came in ships, okay, this and that, and whoopty-bam, and yes, that did happen. And a lot of them now are starting to, you know, come on with it and be like, yeah, this did happen. You know, yes, it did. But the hidden 64 years on how to make the slave, it never comes up in the educational system in America, which Woodrow Wilson, this educational paradigm that we're on in America, this system for the public school system is created by Woodrow Wilson. He left that out. So those are the things that we have to go find on our own. But all praise is due to Allah for the Nation of Islam. It give us the boost. Once you come into the knowledge of the Nation of Islam, then that boost that you need to put you in the right direction and start learning these things, which we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to learn these things, and we shouldn't have to dig up under this book. We shouldn't have to we shouldn't have to jump through hoops just to understand what happened. But, and it made me sad. It made me sad to see, you know, how we was hanging out, how we was just hanging out. It made me sad because it made me think, I said, damn. And I can't get mad. I can't get mad at a brother. I can't get mad at our sisters. We can't get mad when we talking to our brothers and sisters going live and they not paying attention and they want to turn another cheek to what the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan is saying, what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is saying. We cannot be mad at them. And this is the reason why we can't be mad at them. Because we were scientifically remade. That's not easy. That's not easy, brothers and sisters. That's not easy. We were scientifically remade. Meaning that the mindset that the European has, that the Caucasian has, that the white man has, he was able, in 64 years, he was able to set us on that course to having the same mind that he had. That's why I say the white man, he hates naturally. But you and I, we are now in a vacuum to where we hate ourselves. Who this nigga think he is? You don't even have to know him. Who this nigga think he is? You look down at his shoes, he got some nice shoes on. This nigga here. He think he like that. No, he don't. You buy you some Jordans. This nigga got the new Jordans on. Who is this nigga? Who do he think he is? Black woman, get some new hair done. Get some new hair. Y'all know how y'all get that, what, Brazilian and Colombian and, I don't know. The different names of the different hairs, Hawaiian silky, I don't know. You know, I don't know. But you get your hair did, you know. Female don't even know you. Another black woman don't even know you. Ooh, where she get that hair from? That color don't even match her skin, or that texture don't even go with her look, or you know, we have a inclination of evilness that are in us. But it's not there by nature though. It's a scientific way that it was done to us. So that's what makes me, and I'm not saying everybody has to think like this. I'm just saying that's the process on what I'm starting to come into as I'm continuing to learn in the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, guided and taught by the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. This is how I'm starting to see things that are up close and personal, just stuff around me. You know, I can't be mad at the black man and woman. You know, I seen so many children running out there without masks. I seen, you know, like just, hey, you know, we just, you know, hey, the news said that we good. We can, everything is back up, this and that. And I know that it's white people in high places, it's scientists in high places that are looking at the conditions of the black man and woman, engaging that and saying, yeah, you know, they still worship us. They're still waiting on our beck and call. They're still waiting on whatever we say, jump. They're waiting to say how high. They know this. It's a language being spoken right in front of us that we don't understand. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan understands the language, but it's only so much that he can do. He needs assistance. And this is where we come in at, on all different walks of life. You know, you might be strong in this area. You might not be too strong in that area, but it's okay. Wherever you lack at, it's a brother or sister that's going to be strong where you lack. And wherever they're lacking, you might be in degrees higher to be able to carry them along. That's how we got to start looking at this thing. That's how we got to start looking at each other. Where he lacks or where she's lacking, okay, I'm sure up in that area. I can bring them along this way and vice versa. But I know for a fact that our people are not doing this on purpose. Our people are not touching a stove because it's hot. Before we touch the stove, we know the stove is hot. But the condition of the black man and woman, something in the make, something that was scientifically done, is continuously making us touch the stove. We know before we touch it, the stove is hot. But we're going to touch the stove anyway. And we're going to get burnt anyway. I'm not going to say that that's stupid. See, my mind back then would say, that's dumb, that's stupid. But let me be slow to judge. Let me be slow to call a person stupid that can see the hot coils on the stove are hot. We know they hot. Condition of the black man and woman, the hidden 64 years to make a slave. I'm going to touch the stove anyway. Bam. Oh, I got burned. So this is what Dr. Wesley talks about. I don't know half of the language Dr. Akil, Dr. Wesley, a lot of the things Brother Reza Islam speak about. I mean, I'm capable enough to process the information that's being spoken to me. I'm able to do that. But a lot of the things that they speak about, you know, I'm dumbfounded on, you know, because of the research of the things that they're digging, the passion where Allah is guiding them to go dig. And I thank my brothers and sisters, those who are deep down in it like that and bringing things to the surface to spread amongst us, not just registered members, but the black man and woman, period. And the human family in general, period. All praise is due to Allah for a brother Ben X to be able to stay in his lane and to be superior in what he does and to bring us along in the things that he know. His mind is going 24 billion miles per second. So we thank him for sharing that, for sharing those things to bring us along, and that's helping get us safe to the other side. See, everything that we're learning from Dr. Wesley, everything that we're learning from Brother Ishmael Muhammad on Sundays, everything we're learning, we're not just learning from a spiritual aspect. We're not just learning from a physical aspect to work out, eat healthy. We're not just learning from that aspect. We're, believe it or not, we're being scientifically remade again back into the original. We're being grafted. If you know it or not, we're being genetically engineered again. See, when the white man came out of the cave, when Moses brought the white man out of the cave and civilized him, that is what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is doing. He's bringing us out of the wilderness. See, the white man came out of a cave, but now we have to come out of the wilderness. That is a congruent to our cave. That is our cave. Our cave is the wilderness. So the same thing that happened to the European is the same process that we have to go through. That's why the Minister Farrakhan said that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is Yaqub in reverse. Because everything that Moses learned, he learned from Yaqub. Moses taught Moses, he civilized the European coming out of the slave, but a lot of the tricks and lies they forgot. So Moses had to give that back to him. Did that make Moses bad? No, it did not. Moses was fulfilling the timeline. He was fulfilling what Yaqub had gave him. Even though Yaqub was not around when Moses was in the world, but the mindset that never dies. That right there was still going. So the tricks and lies, see, Yaqub was a god. He was the god of Teman. He was a god. So the things that the white man had forgotten when he went on all fours in the caves. Here comes Moses, the liberator. Here comes Moses. When Moses uplifted them, when Moses stood them up, the serpent, he made the serpent stand. When he stood up, the technology and the deceptive intelligence that he gave them to trick a people, which was us coming down a timeline, that came from God. That came from Yaqub. That came from the God of Teman. Out of Moses, that technology, that deceptive intelligence that got us in the condition that we're in right now. Moses, he contributed to that. Does that make him bad? No. The hidden 64 years, the hidden 64 years of making a slave. So I hear people all the time going against the Nation of Islam, saying this about the minister. Of course, naturally, it makes us hot. It makes us very upset, okay? It makes us mad. It makes us furious. It makes us be on guard, because it's not just because it's the minister. It's because of what's inside of us, and we're a part of it. We are part of, and it's not to have a personal vendetta to the person who's going against the minister or who's saying bad things about the Nation of Islam. It's not a personal thing. And see, that's what we got to stop doing, brothers and sisters. We got to stop making this a personal situation. That's why we got to observe the minister. That's why we have to watch the minister and look at him. When his own people come at him, the minister don't wish death on them. The minister don't wish death on them. At least I haven't never seen. I've never seen where the minister wish death on another black man and woman because they say he's a lie, he's a anti-Semite, or he's crazy, he's a crazy man, or this and that. I've never heard the minister wish death upon a black man or woman, and to say that I hope that nigga die, or I hope, there is no help for him, or there is no this and that. I've never heard the minister say that. Now, if someone can bring that to my knowledge, then, hey, I can observe it, I can submit, I can humbly grace and bow out to it and say, hey, I never heard that. But what I'm saying is that just because we see our people not agreeing with us, in our own personal mindset, we might say, shh, man, they lost, or this and that. When we say they're lost, can we really say that they're lost and we're found? Because we're feeding on the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? I mean, it's just me. I still see a lot. I feed on the teachings all the time, but I still see a lot of fault that I have. I still see where I'm crippled at in my own life. My own foot is in my own way. I see that. I bear witness to that. So I have to be, I can't just jump out there at a dude and say, oh, nigga, the minister been teaching amongst us for 64 years and you still ain't listening to him. It's things that the minister have said that I haven't even applied. Whoa. It's things I've heard the minister say that I haven't even applied. Whoa. So, what Michael Jackson say? The man in the mirror? Woo. That was heavy. That should all be said. That's the only thing that should be said. Look in the man in the mirror. That should cut all that backbiting, talking about this person, what that person don't have, what this person do have, or that person ain't doing this and doing that. That should cut all that out. Right there. When you look in the mirror, it shouldn't be nothing else to be said about somebody else. Even when we see our brothers and sisters. This white man then opened up Texas and said, hey, Texas is wide open. Our brothers and sisters that are having a good time. They having gatherings. They bringing their barbecue pits out. They all gathering up together. They're around. And I say, well, damn. We just seen today in Dallas, where I'm at right now, it was 160 something new cases today. 100 and something new cases today of the COVID-19 in Dallas. So when we read this on the news and we hear the doctors and we hear this type of stuff going on and we say, okay, well, this pandemic is still up going. Another wave is about to hit with this pandemic. You think black people want to die? You think black people are not suffering? You think just because we see black people gaining together, they're not wearing any masks, they're just out having a good time. Do you think that those people want to die? Do you think they want to catch the COVID-19 and die? No, they don't. So that's what I'm saying. It's much more than taking heed. We hear the warning. It's more than that. We were scientifically remade into something else. We was made into our open opposition, like them. But to be honest, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when a black man or a black woman turn devil, they turn 7 times worse than the opposition. The white man, we turn way worse. Why? Why do we turn way worse? Because it's scientifically done on us. This is why. Because now, not only are we not ourselves, we have took on someone else. And that someone else that we have taken on is our natural enemies on the way that they were made. That's why. Scientifically, that's why we're 7 times worse than our open opposition. It's because naturally we are righteous by nature. But we can say that all day. But this generation that we're living in, us, I'm speaking to us, we only hear the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan tell us that we're righteous by nature. We're righteous by nature. The Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan is the perfect example. He's the Jesus in our midst. Why? Because He's been able, by Allah's grace, he's been able, by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and by his own determination and other things that's dealing with Allah, he's been able to scientifically turn himself back into the original man. He's done it. We are witnessing where we have actually seen the manifestation of Yaqub work in reverse. That started with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the product is the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. He's the product. The Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan is the product of the manifestation of Yaqub in reverse. So when we can look at the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan at 80-something years old, and we see him and we say, damn, when he's a new Adam. He's a new Adam. A-D-A-M and A-T-O-M. See, the Minister Farrakhan, the atoms that makes up his whole make is not the same as you and mine anymore. Oh, man. That's another topic. The atoms that are in him physically, in his mind, are not the same atoms that you and I are having in our mindsets, brothers and sisters, at this particular time. But that's another topic. In conclusion, I just wanted to get up, man, here and just say that the condition that we're in, it's not easy. It's not easy to look at our condition and just say these people are stupid. What are they not understanding? That the white man is not, when are we going to stop putting our trust in the white man? We go to the polls every 4 years. We getting upset because we still got black people running to the polls. They know that it's no good. They say, well, we got to choose lesser of the evils. And we say those that are in a little high degrees that are feeding on the teachings say, why choose a lesser evil? Let's just get our own. Let's go independent and let's get our own. Like the minister is saying. When some black people hear that, that's very foreign to them. They really don't understand that. So when they look at us and say, you done lost your mind, and we look at them and say, nigga, you done lost your mind. When they tell us we've lost our mind for not eating pork, or look at them niggas in them bow ties, or look at the women wearing all that hot stuff on their head and stuff like that. It's not that, and some may joke about it. Some may joke about it. Some may make fun about it. But actually, in the reality of our existence and the reality of the hidden 64 years of making a slave, this is what you hear coming out of the black man and woman mouth of America. It's not purposely done. Even if we say on the surface, oh, they saying that on purpose, or they trying to get under my skin. No, because that is not our nature. So when we talk about it, when we're talking about ourselves in self-hate, when we talking about this and that, going against the grain, we selling ourselves out to ride with the white man and to be on his side. We can't hear what a black person saying and take it for face value. We have to let the white man come behind them and then agree with what the black person said, and then we'll say, oh, okay, yeah, now I see what you was talking about. Yeah, I had to hear from the white man. That is not done on purpose, brothers and sisters. We can't get mad at them for taking our word for face value and not really waiting on the white man to say something, and then once he said, then it's face value to them. We can't get mad at them. We can't get mad at them because what we're witnessing is a people who was scientifically remade into their natural opponents, which is the Caucasian. All I'm saying is just to keep that in your mind. As we go forward, when you see this stuff, even within yourself, you look in the mirror, you see yourself. When I see homeless black men and women, when I see whores strung out on dope, when I see this and that, I see myself. I'm learning how to see myself. I can't look at them and say, oh, what's wrong with that nigga? Or, ah, damn, or, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? Woo, 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 woo. I can't do that. The first image now that come in my head when I see them is myself. I picture myself being in the mirror. I picture myself looking at myself in the mirror, saying that that's a part of you. When I see a black man strung out on dope, that's a part of me. That's a part of me. When we see homosexuals and lesbians, that's a part of all of us. That's a part of, no homo. That's a part of us that we have to deal with. Honestly, that's a part of us. All that comes from the hidden 64 years of making a slave. What do you think that they was doing? They was buck breaking the black man, bending the black man over, going up in his anus. We're not talking about, 5 or 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. We're talking about 64 years. 64 years, this process was going on and on and on. It was going on and on. You're talking about black men breeding other black babies. And these babies are coming up. And by the time they get 10, 11, 12 years old, they going in their anus. 13, 14 years old, they going up in their anus. So when this process is being done, the DNA, the blood inside of the slave, all this is memory. All the DNA, this is memory being transferred through generation after generation, after generation, after generation, after generation. That's what's happening. So now we see, yes, that's what's happening, man. Wow, this is what's happening. So I wanted to come up here, man, and I wanted to share that. I wanted to share that with the brothers and sisters. I wanted to share that, man, because it's deeper than what we think. Soon as we snatch on to these teachings and we start reading, we read Message to the Black Man, we read Our Savior Has Arrived, we read Fall to America, then oh yeah, now we want to start correcting others. No. Stop doing that. No. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. You can have the book Message to the Black Man your whole life. Until you die. You can read that book from the day you're born until the day you die, and you won't be able to fulfill everything correctly from that book. I'm not saying to not try or to strive, but what I'm saying is it takes more. 1 meal a day, we know that's the standard in the Nation of Islam. That's the standard. We already know how the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us how to do it. He gave us the proper instructions and the perfect instructions on how to do it, because he got it from Allah himself, Master Farad Muhammad. He got it from him. It's not something that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad made up and said, hey, look, this is what we're going to start doing. I'm finna write this book and this is how you're going to do it. Everything that he breathed on and he manifested from his mouth came from Allah himself, Master Farad Muhammad. The supreme wisdom, the root of the universe came from him. So we read How to Eat to Live Part 1 and 2. We have this in our homes. We can get on social media. We can take pictures of the books. We can show people that we have these. But how many of us are not snacking between meals? 24 hours. How many of us are eating between the hours of 4 and 6? How many of us are at home at night watching TV, watching a good movie or something with the family, and somebody makes some popcorn or somebody bring a bag of chips and you watching a movie and you eating some chips or you drinking some juice or you eating some fruit or you eating something? How many of us can go in the store and go down the snack aisle and see some snacks, and how many of us have got a Snicker, a candy bar, and we getting ready to go out the store, we putting everything on the conveyor belt, and we see some chewing gum or we see some candy that we like, and we put that on there and we buy that, and we get in the car and we smash that thing while we driving back home. How many of us have done that? That's not a part of the How to Eat to Live, Part 1 and 2. Come on, man. Come on. So what we're seeing is this is going to take a scientific approach. This is why we thank Allah for the Dr. Wesley Muhammad and Dr. Akil Muhammad. We thank Allah for these brothers, because these brothers are the brothers who's feeding us a scientific information. Brother Reza Islam as well. See, it's going to take us to be scientifically and spiritually. See, when you talk about spiritually, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, said that Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he gave us an economic blueprint and a political blueprint, but he didn't give us a spiritual blueprint. He didn't give us a spiritual blueprint. He didn't give us what foods to eat, knowing about the chemicals that's in the food. He didn't know nothing about that. He was illiterate of that. He didn't know that. He even said, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he even said that I'm not here to bring you up spiritually. It's another man that's coming to do that. Prophecy. The spirit in him from God, he's a black man. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was an original man. He's a black man. But the spirit in him of Allah, the reality of man and God, gave him the revelation to say that. Spiritually, you know what I'm saying? You got one coming to do that. Everybody's mission was to get back to Africa before the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Everybody's mission was to get back to Africa. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "No, we're not going to Africa. No, we gotta spiritually be remade." And with the spirit being remade is the scientific way too of being remade. See, you can't have the spirit without the science. I'm going to say that again, brothers and sisters. You cannot have the spirit without the science. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. See, they already tried to introduce us to the spirit without the science. That was Christianity. That's why we see ourselves in the condition that we're in right now, because the science was left out by the Caucasian. The art of mating, the art of business, all those things was left out. See, that's science. That's science. Those things were left out. There was a void in us that we didn't know nothing about. They left that out on purpose. So we couldn't get ahead. They would feed us spiritually and say, hey, spiritually, this and that. Mystery God. Don't try to understand God. Don't question God, this and that. We didn't have no choice but to run with that, because we was already scientifically the hidden 64 years to make a slave. We were already built for the things that they was teaching us. When they told us not to question God, they was telling us not to question the white man. That's what they was really saying. You can't question God. So the image that we seen of God was a white man. So anytime that the white man would read the Bible to us as slaves, even if something did occur to our mindset that, wait a minute, that didn't sound right. Can you say that again? Or if we had questions, the fear of not questioning God was steeped so heavy in us that the things that we didn't understand the white man was reading out of that Bible, we even feared to even ask. See? Science. 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 But in my conclusion, final conclusion, going forward, brothers and sisters, when you see your brothers and you see your sisters not wearing masks, it's just going out like everything is cool. The white man said this. They might not say the white man said everything is open again. Just know, you might look at something and see something and say, damn, man, come on, brother, come on, sister, damn. But just know, you know better. You know better. Think about the mirror. Think about looking at the person in the mirror. I'm not saying not to warn them. I'm not saying you can't even warn them. I'm not saying that you can't Give them instructions. I mean, we don't want to see our people crash. But your job is to deliver the message. That's it. Your job is to deliver the message. Your job is not to condemn them. The Honorable Miss Louis Farrakhan said, I don't condemn a man, I meet him where he's at. We can take a lot from that. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, it's Friday. We quarantining. We in here. You know what I'm saying? We here. You know, they opened up Texas today, but of course, the instructions that we were given by the Honorable Miss Louis Farrakhan is to continue to stay on guard. And I'm asking all you brothers and sisters, no matter what state you in, no matter what city you in, stay on guard, man. Keep your mask, keep your social distancing. Don't go to no restaurants right now, brothers and sisters, please. Continue to stack up on your beans. Continue to stack up on your water. Continue to stack up on your toilet paper. Continue to stack up on your seasonings, your canned goods, your these types of things. Continue to stack up on these things, man, because another wave is coming. Another wave of this pestilence is coming. It's coming. And, you know, some will listen, some won't. But let's be on the side of those that do listen. You know what I'm saying? This COVID-19 haven't even reached its peak yet. So, with that being said, brothers and sisters, you brothers and sisters, y'all have a blessed Friday night, man. You know, continue to quarantine, get with your family, love on your brothers and sisters, man. And, you know, as we go out and move out throughout the days, man, just know when you see something ignorant going on, don't be quick to judge it. Don't be quick to speak out on it. Look at yourself in the mirror. Think about looking at yourself in the mirror. That's what I'm starting to do. So with that being said, I leave you brothers and sisters with the greeting words of peace, which we say in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum.